It's about 6 a.m. and I'm getting the crane truck loaded up because I'm heading off to the city, off to Edmonton, to pick up some toys that I won at the auction. So the auction yard is up in Nisku, and it's the Ritchie Bros auction yard. One of the biggest auction yards in Canada, actually, and one of the biggest ones in North America. But they had just had their September auction, so it was very busy. I had to wait a couple hours in line, and here I picked up a Yanmar 10 kilowatt generator, and I got myself this here skid steer hydraulic cement breaker. After waiting just a couple hours in line to finally get loaded up, because apparently they wouldn't let me load myself up with the crane because of safety and liability issues, which is pretty annoying, but that's how it is, I guess. And half the day of driving, I finally ended up back home and was able to start playing with these new things. So the cement breaker, brand new, unused. The generator was listed as operable, but it is a auction. I did buy it sight unseen, so I actually have no clue whether it's going to work or not, or the condition of either of these, really. But I'm getting it unloaded because it's just kind of in the way. All I can really do is get a couple hydraulic hoses made up for it, because it didn't come with hydraulic hoses, and I'm not sure whether they were, but it came with the bit and everything I needed, basically. So I just need the hoses and the quick couplers. But here I'm cleaning all the extra wiring and mess that was wrapped around this generator when it was cut loose. So the first steps I do with these test runs of a little engine like this is I check, make sure it's got coolant, oil, everything it needs. Make sure nothing's in the fan that's going to get snagged. Make sure the wire's all cleaned up so we're not going to have any fires. There's our two fuel lines. We got a suction and a return. And then I'm just basically gonna, I can't see any oil in that dipstick, so I'm gonna top up the oil a bit. Not a great sign, but whatever. I disconnected the intake just to make sure there's no rocks or dirt in there, and to make sure that engine shut-off valve was open. And then I'm just gonna basically crank it over, make sure it's not seized, make sure it has compression, and then I'll prime up the fuel system and then do a test run. And then after the test run, I'll go out and I'll purchase new belts, new coolant, new oil, filters, do an oil change, fuel filters. I'll service the whole engine, but I'm not gonna go buy all that stuff if the engine's like right seized. Here I got the engine running just on a little bit of spray lubricant. No, this is not starting fluid I'm spraying into there. That's pretty hard on engines to do that. But this is just like, it's spray silicone lubricant. And this is just because the fuel injection pump, I couldn't get it to inject, and I just wanted to make sure that the engine was going to start up. And it sounds a little bit rough, but that's just the pre-ignition of the spray lube, which isn't the best thing for it to run off of, but it won't hurt it any. I was hoping that it firing up like this would get that injection pump freed up, but unfortunately I think I was only able to get one of the injector pistons actually firing. So one cylinder kept picking up and then shutting off, but it wasn't actually running. So I did need to take that injection pump off and see what exactly was going on with it. So I removed this little teeny 3-cylinder injection pump, and I found that a couple pistons were stuck and the fuel rail itself. So I took it all apart to clean everything up. It looks to me like the fuel was all full of water and contamination. So basically the injection pump sat full of some watery diesel for quite some time, and that caused everything to stick up. Everything was in good condition, but it was still sticking. So after cleaning all the parts down best I could and cleaning them up with a solvent, I found some instructions to put it back together, which there isn't a lot of instructions online for these little injection pumps. The only thing I had trouble with was the actual clocking of the pistons for the throttle. I couldn't find anywhere saying which marks exactly you line up, so that took a little bit of trial and error. But there was only really 2 positions that the pistons could have been in with the little throttle cams. So I either had it correct or it was 180 degrees out. So I put it together, the throttle didn't work, so I took it apart, lined them up again, and then it worked. So that was all figured out. However, the injection pump was still a little bit sticky. During this time, I got the hydraulic shop to make me up a couple of 1/2-inch hydraulic lines for this cement breaker. They're 6-foot lines, which seem to be the standard size for this kind of an attachment. So the quick couplers, they were MPT, and the other end going into the skid steer breaker was British standard parallel pipe, so BSPP, but luckily the hydraulic shop had all that in stock. I also managed to break up all this concrete very easily with this concrete breaker. It works so well, like so well. I don't know what I was expecting. I just didn't think it would be like tap, 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 and everything just bursts apart. I want to get an attachment for this for pounding fence posts in, and I guess build some brackets so I can mount the hammer on the bottom to use it as a post pounder, because why would I buy a completely separate one for pounding in fence posts when I have this one? So that'll be some upcoming projects, is turning this into a post pounder for the future. Working through diagnosing this generator here and getting up and running. The generator itself does make power. I had it up to operating RPM and it was making power great. The alternator's charging the battery. Okay, so basically that's all complete. We got oil pressure. There's no wires to the temp sensor, so that's one thing I can't really look at right now. But here's the problem. It's running kind of rough right now, I'm assuming, just because of all the stuff and contamination in the fuel system and how sticky that injection pump was. So basically the deal is this whole fuel system was totally full of rotten and watery fuel that totally just seized up that injection pump. And it's not that it was full of rust, but there was probably rust I couldn't see on it because there's no O-rings or seals in this injection pump. It's all steel on steel pistons and cylinders. And it doesn't leak or bypass because the steel has such tight tolerances. So the tiniest little layer of oxidization on the surface will cause it to stick up. So either way, I have it all freed up now, but this throttle plate in there, you see that guy slides back and forth. Right now it's to the fully off position. It's a throttle rack. And this little lever down here is for the governor and the engine shut off. So that's it to control fuel flow. All the way to the forward of the engine is throttle to 0%, engine off. All the way to the back of the engine is throttle 100%. So this solenoid will shut it off when you shut the engine down, basically. But either way, the governor plate, the governor lever, whatever you want to call it, is able to push engine off harder than it can pull engine on. So basically, if I can get it to the 50% throttle position and fire it up, the government goes to idle down, and it idles down too low, and then it can't pull the throttle rack back. Even though I've got it freed up pretty good, it's still kind of sticky. So I'm going to fill the fuel system up with ATF and let it sit for a couple days, because it has ATF seems to do a really good job at cleaning and lubricating diesel fuel systems. Otherwise, I'm probably going to have to pull the injection pump out, pull it all apart again, and soak it in some really aggressive cleaner, hopefully, and maybe even polish down all the components, which I really didn't want to do, just because you don't really want to be like hard scrubbing at stuff with such tight tolerances. But that might be my only option next to completely rebuilding it. But it does run, and it runs okay. I think there's still maybe the pistons stick up a little bit, but it runs all right. I'm going to change the oil now that I know that it's a good engine and like it doesn't have any blow by or anything, and the generator actually makes power. So I'll fully service it, get a new belt, do an oil change, let that fuel system soak. And if I need to, I can actually get that whole fuel injection pump unit for like $500. I could go buy one, but I would like to make that one work because there's really nothing wrong with it. It's not broken. It's just being unfortunately contaminated by bad fuel. If you have any advice for unsticking injection pumps on these mechanical diesels, like maybe you use seafoam or something, just drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear how other people have fixed this problem, which isn't an uncommon problem with mechanical diesels. Basically, what I've done now is taken the fuel bowl and filled it just right up with ATF. Best way to directly introduce ATF into the fuel system. So that way it just fills that pump up. I'll try and run it for a couple minutes, keep it running, and then just let it sit for a couple days and let that ATF soak on into the injection pump and hopefully soften up some of that residue that's making everything sticky. I'm not expecting this to be a solution, but a lot of people swear by ATF on mechanical diesels. I would consider that to be success. It actually idles now pretty good on its own. It still runs a little bit rough sometimes. I think that's just all the debris working its way out of the fuel system. I'm going to continue to clean up and play with it. It makes power, so I'm going to get a breaker box with outlets so I can run 110 and 220 off of this guy. And I will get a new air filter and air filter housing because this one was all broken up. So that way, obviously, I can have an air filter. I'll service the engine, clean it all up, and either keep it as a generator that I can have on hand for whenever I want 110 or 220 wherever I go, or I'll possibly just list it on Marketplace and see if someone wants to pick it up.